What's going on?
Well, so we're in Cambodia, and the bed didn't survive the night. We had very, very explosive diarrhea, and this happens sometimes when you travel third world. Is you either eat something or accidentally get a sip of maybe it's the tap water on the toothbrush or something. We got something somewhere, dude, and we both woke up this morning, some other members of our group, and ooh, it is powerful. It was Montezuma's revenge at his best. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Why are we filming this?
Because day in the life, Chris.
Okay.
People want to know what it's like to travel with you, and
good.
This is happening now.
Yes, this is real time.
And everyone always is just wondering, how does Chris handle something like this?
Well, this morning I handled it by taking a pit stop with my personal PA and said, go find over-the-counter strength anti-diuretics and anti-nausea, and I just finished glurping that down. So. In life, you got to get practical, right? Circumstances comes up, and you got to treat it practically. I'll meet some people, because I've seen some people use the power of breakthrough and shifting their mindset, and literally they wipe out a terminal illness, or they wipe out cancer, or they wipe out, like really, really good friend of mine had a terminal condition. She was told she didn't have very long to live, and she was so overwhelmed with thinking she was going to die, because we're all going to die, but it was getting in the way of all of her joy and all of her happiness. And Sandra went through this really deep, powerful breakthrough moment where she chose to live. And over the next couple of months, ended up going through some treatments with their doctors. And again, terminal means you cannot cure, but by the time the treatments were done, the doctors were flabbergasted because she no longer had this terminal condition. And so, I've seen how powerful the mind is the most powerful medicine. But just because that's true, just because I've had thousands of people come to my events and address, physical problems and ailments, I can't come out there and say, hey, we're gonna heal your body. We can't do that. But I believe you do. I believe you have the ability to heal your body, but you have to do it responsibly. So like right now, I've got some really awesome diarrhea. What's the most responsible way to treat that? I'm gonna address my mind. But since I have this awesome availability with today's technology and someone else's genius to pop a pill and stop things up, dude, I'm going to take full advantage of that. So you got to be responsible with your approach to addressing your body's concerns, and just know that you have the ability, so much more than any of us really know, to heal our body, to help our body get back into balance from where it's at. So I think there's a step one and a step two. I think step one is we've taken some good responsible steps because we've had some immediate needs. We're gonna be on this bus for like 7 hours today, and dude, we can't stop every 10 minutes. So we took a practical approach. But in this moment, like right now, right here, being woken up by chloroquine, I'm sitting here and thinking, all right, well, what can I do beyond that? Breakthrough. What's the limiting belief? That if I have diarrhea and if I feel nausea, then there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, that's real for me. It's something from the past that the only way I've dealt with it is through practical, medication. But is that true? It's probably not true. I actually have plenty of ample evidence, like Sandra Kuhn's. She'll play a little clip of her and actually show you that our minds are incredibly powerful. I was working with one of my extreme clients who every 2 weeks went to the hospital to get a procedure done, electroshock therapy. And her depression and her sadness was so intense that every 2 weeks she went in, it cost thousands of dollars a month. They basically shocked her brain, and then she was kind of mind numb for a few days and then took a few more days to heal, would come home and would be relatively normal for about a week before the depression would come into her life again and she had to repeat it. And I remember working with her during a very intense 5-week period of time where she was able to release that treatment and never need it again. But never at any point did I actually tell her, hey, you should stop this treatment. But it's recognizing that so often the pills that we take or the treatments that we use, they're all about addressing our symptoms, but not necessarily healing the body. So there's totally a place for doctors. There's a place for surgeons. I love how we're out of the dark ages. We live in a world where we have all this technological advancement, and I'm going to take full advantage of it because it produces miracles, it changes lives, it saves lives. And never forget that the moment you fall into a chronic status, that your mind is at work in that game. Chronic meaning well, I can't really heal this, or I can't fix this, or it'll be with me for the rest of my lives. Like, I've got a really close friend of mine that believes that she has bad knees. And as a result, it affects all of her decisions. And now she's way less physically active, and it has an impact on her life. The belief that you have bad knees, really? So you had bum knees for a moment, but is that really what's going to serve you for the rest of your life? If not, what we need to do is actually challenge some of the ideas that are encouraging us to produce or pursue medications that all they're really doing is treating the symptoms. If you're looking for the cure, start right here. Start in your mind. Start with what's possible inside of you. I've used this over and over and over again. When I was young growing up, I had hives, horrible hives, and they were debilitating. So I would go to the hospital, and they would basically, there's nothing they could do because I'd start itching a little bit, and then more, and I'd get these raised red bumps eventually all over my body. And it was maddening. If you've ever had like a mosquito bite or 20, imagine 1,000. Maddening, right? And so what basically happened is when the seasons would change from hot to cold, these hives would present themselves, and I was basically disabled from doing a lot of the things that I wanted to. Well, this is what my childhood was like up until I became, 22 years old, 23, married, and I decided, hey, I'm an adult now. I want to actually go to the gym regularly, and I would do that during the summers, but come winter, the hives would impair me and keep me from actually being able to stand a treadmill longer than 60 seconds before hives were all over my body and driving me nuts. I felt powerless, that there was nothing I could do. But when I applied this breakthrough technology, I just challenged that idea. Do I have to have hives? No. Do they have to come out every time I exercise, or that the seasons or the temperature changes? No. And so what I did is I started adjusting my mind. I started actually running with the idea that my mind is more powerful than my body, and my mind will command my body. I'd be on the treadmill, and I remember the very first day I ran with this mantra, I am whole. I am whole. And I just stayed on that treadmill. And after 60 seconds, the hives were really bad. I got off. But the next day I got back on that treadmill and I said, I am whole. I made it like a whole 3 minutes before the hives overtook me. The next day, 5 minutes. The next day, 8 minutes. The next day, 10 minutes. And before, it didn't take very long. By the end of the month, I was doing a full 30, 45 minutes on the treadmill, and I didn't have any hives coming out whatsoever. My body has the ability to produce these hives, but I've learned that through focusing on what I want instead of what I don't want gives me the ability and gives me the power to overcome those frailties. Those frailties, they're not always conditions inside of us that we can do nothing against. We're far more powerful than that. I believe we have the spark of the divine within us, and the only way to know is to exercise faith on an idea that's going to serve you better than the one that hasn't. So I want to challenge you right now. If there's any chronic ailment in your life where doctors have thrown up their hands and like, well, it is this way, or there's nothing you can do about it, I don't care if it's terminal, I don't care if it runs in the family, I don't care if it's in your genetics. The reality is that you have the power to challenge it, and you can't do this halfway. Faith is an all or nothing game, but challenge it all the way with an opposing idea, a new idea that you're willing to believe in. For me, the idea wasn't I don't have hives, the idea was I am whole. And that mantra has helped with knees that have gone bad, and the doctor has said you should never run again, and I've run ultra marathons since then. Exercise your mind to produce the result that you want. Now, I cannot tell you, with all the different ages and youth and people that are out there, I can't tell you that your mind can heal and cure everything. The reality is we're mortal, we're all gonna die. But I will tell you, I believe that the majority of us suffer from unnecessary ailments just because we have a belief system that supports the inadequacy of a condition that happened once upon a time. And we're now living in the past, keeping that condition in the present moment, which is why it surfaces again and again and again. And then we have a belief, I have this condition, I have that problem. And the reality is, I need this medication, I need that medication. It's time to challenge it. Now, this is really important. I'm not asking you to go off your meds because I talked about being responsible. What I am encouraging you to do is to find out what your mind can do. Find out what your mind is capable of. Hold space that while you're being responsible and doing your treatments or your medications or whatever it is, hold space for being whole. Hold space for being healed. Hold space. And I'll even tell you, like right now in this moment, from the time that Carson tapped me on the shoulder, I'm feeling a lot better. Now, I don't know if that's the Imodium speaking or the anti-nausea, but I will tell you that right now, I'm feeling a lot better because I'm practicing what I preach right now. I'm running forward with this idea. I'm whole. I feel great. I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying this opportunity. I'm enjoying the people all around me. And no matter what, no circumstance is going to keep this dog down from having a good day. I'm going to have a good day. You go make one for yourself, even if you got a label called terminal.
Listen, if you've got any physical ailments in your life right now that are chronic, meaning they show up, I want to invite you to challenge them. I want to invite you to question them and see where a bit of faith in the other direction could actually take you. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any chronic ailments in your life, I want to invite you to question them. In fact, comment below if you've had any experience whatsoever in questioning a chronic ailment and actually getting it to go away by believing the opposite direction. Otherwise, subscribe, ring the bell so we can notify you about some of our other upcoming videos, or check out some of these that we shot for you.